Wellness Week. Wellness. I should have a song. What's up, Magnus? How's it going? From beautiful 110-degree Arizona.
Yeah, it's actually so for people that don't know, I'm in Arizona and went to a coaching conference this weekend, which was really good. So a lot of great speakers and met new friends, good connections, more information. So that was really good. The weather has actually been quite cool here. It's about 75 today, which is it's almost winter weather in Arizona right now.
It's 75 in Jersey right now.
Yeah. So we're basically having the same type of weather.
Well, I tell people, if you can make it in New Jersey, like Frank Sinatra's song, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Basically, New Jersey too. You know, if you can survive the New Jersey, especially the climates, we can get as hot as 105. We can get as cold as -5. We get it all: the snow, the tornadoes, the hurricanes. So, like, yeah, if you live in New Jersey, like a friend of mine just moved to Dubai. She's like, dude, if you can last the Jersey summers, which is 2.5 months, Dubai ain't nothing. Yeah. So, but cool, dude. All right, so. Let's talk about a couple topics today, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, tell your mom, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, everybody, like, subscribe. Come on, do it. All right.
Don't miss out.
Don't. All right, so the Great Resignation. Why are people quitting their jobs? 2, what are regrets that we have in our 20s and 30s? And 3, what the heck does a gallbladder do? You always hear gallbladder. Hey, they took it out. Hey, like, well, do we even need this thing? Okay, so Great Resignation. People are leaving their jobs. It's a little weird, right? Because I'm like, I don't know if you have this by you, but there's like a Wetzer's pretzels. It's like a specialty pretzel.
Yeah.
Okay. They're amazing pretzels. And one of the places by me is out of business now, one of the locations, and it's a very busy location. I was like, what? The only thing I could think of is they couldn't find employees to work for, $10, $12, $13, $14, $15 an hour. After taxes, you're only making $7 an hour. So I think people are like, I don't need this. And the job market is a workers market. You can go anywhere and call your own price. So I think people are like, double barrels, I'm out of here. Are you seeing anything like that by you in Cali? Because in Jersey, people, it's hard to find.
I think we see it, especially like throughout basically the whole states. I mean, I think that when you're just going around, like almost all restaurants, all stores are seeking, like, they have openings, like they're seeking new people to employ. And I mean, first of all, everybody got fired and now everybody's trying to hire. So it's weird. And I think that like a lot of people, like, lesson learned that it's easy to lose your job, but now, like, for companies, it's actually hard to recruit.
Right. Which I was just telling you, my tennis business, I'm having a hard time finding people. And I think part of it is because tennis is a niche thing, but also part of it is they can go get other jobs. I went to get gasoline today in Jersey. You don't pump your own gas. The only state in the whole damn country. But I was
actually Oregon too.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Oregon and New Jersey. But my point is, I waited for 15 minutes to get gas, and because there was one attendant and there was like not even a lot of cars, but usually they have 2 or 3 attendants. They only have one attendant. So I was like, damn, man, I think New Jersey eventually is going to have a law where you can pump your own gas because you can't be waiting 15 minutes anyways. But same thing with restaurants, right? It's hard you're waiting. I don't know. It's just, I also think a lot of people retired earlier during the pandemic, and when they were cutting the checks to everybody, people are like, like retiring at 55 or 60, when otherwise they would have worked to 65 or 70. And then you have the younger kids, 13 to 21. They're like, why would I work? Mommy and daddy are giving me money. It ain't like when I was a kid. I was working at 12, bro. I'm sure you too, because I did, and that was that generation, I think. So now it's hard. So I think people are they're resigning in younger and older demographics.
I also think that a lot of people saw this as a good opportunity to actually stop doing things that they hate doing and trying to maybe go into a second phase of their career or find something new. A lot of people that are opening their own businesses, online businesses, they're finding a new passion. You might even have people going back to school and re-educate themselves. because they felt like, and this is a little bit what I felt when I was in Sweden, and it felt like I was stuck in a roundabout or a cul-de-sac. It's like I can't go anywhere within this company. Like you can't advance. There's nowhere to go. You're like, you don't feel, and I think a lot of people, they want to feel appreciated, and they also want to evolve. If you don't working for at a company like that, you can't evolve, they feel trapped, and they get bored and frustrated really, really fast.
You're 100% right. You know, it's funny. I follow this woman on Instagram. I'm sorry, I follow this woman on YouTube. I forgot her name. That's how much I follow her. But she was and you hear the story a lot, but she was an ex-corporate lawyer making multiple six figures. We'll call it 300,000, 400,000, whatever. And, you know, young woman, probably in her 30s. And yeah, she resigned. She's like, I hate my job. Yeah, it was hard because it's golden handcuffs. When you're pulling in hundreds of thousands a year and you got the best of everything, you're going to leave that. You know, I used to be a teacher. Okay. In New Jersey, in America, when you're a teacher, now you're not making hundreds of thousands, but you have a job for life. You short of you doing something heinous and evil and starting World War III, you ain't getting fired. And the benefits are pretty damn good. And so I understand that kind of the quote unquote golden handcuffs. The money's good. Now, obviously, this woman is making hundreds of thousands, but she left that. And now she's not making hundreds of thousands. And I think the other thing you touched on is no appreciation. Money aside, if you're appreciated and people recognize you, your boss, your colleague, they see you. They you know, they know your birthday, they know your kids. You know, I have people that work for me in my entertainment company, okay, that make they're producers for major networks and stuff. They still work for me. And not because I'm paying them a lot, but because I can't, but because I value them. I know their kids. I know them. I know their birthday. I send them cards. We hang out. Like, that's probably more important than money. So when you were talking about there was no thing for you to get out of, I think, let me ask you, if you felt really appreciated and loved, would you have stayed longer possibly, or stayed?
100%. The thing is, I loved my coworkers. They were awesome, but no respect from management, being treated like basically like kids, you know, not having honest conversations, hiding information, basically manipulating us. And the thing is, when you're surrounded by a group of, in this case, highly educated and intelligent people see through the dishonesty, and you don't have to be, like, it's not about an education or like high intelligence. We see through dishonesty, and basically when people are bullshitting us, a lot of people have a good bullshit filter and can see that straight away. And that when people are not treating you fairly, or actually like that you're a real human being, I felt that I was just a name and a number in a spreadsheet. Right. And when you feel that, like, and they they show no loyalty for and they're saying, okay, the greatest thing that we have in this company is the people we employ, and that's like, you're the important thing. But there's completely different between like words and actions, and you have to show actions that you actually care about it.
Right.
And you know, never hearing is like, great job, you know. It was just on to the next. Okay, how could you swindle more money out of these like companies that actually that we're doing work for? I mean, I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so when I had an opportunity to move on, of course I will take that chance like 100 times out of 100.
Right. Yeah. It's sad. And by the way, I was going to say is that, you know, this woman that I was, like I said, following on YouTube, the ex-corporate lawyer, she was, what I wanted to say is, oh shoot, I forgot my being appreciated. When you're she was saying that she was working 6 days a week. She only had 1 day off, and then she would work, 15-hour days. That's the other thing, working people to the bone. I think a lot of people and a lot of jobs now are slowly catching on. Like, hey, a 4-day work week. We have to pace ourselves. And I have a new phrase, and I just laid it on to one of my customers because I said to her, we're haggling about a price for an event. I go, listen, I like money. I don't love it. Okay. So I want to make you happy. So I'm not about the money. Now, obviously you could do the right thing, but you know what, I'm not going to sit here and haggle. Like, you tell me what you want. And if we can meet up halfway, beautiful. That's it. I'm not right. Like you said, like trying to penny pinch and get the most out of the customer. I don't upsell. I tell people what I do. You want it? Cool. I told a lady yesterday, I don't think I'm the guy for you. So I gave her my competition's phone number. I said, call this company. They're great. I think they can help you out. And I called the company and I'm like, here, I'm referring you to this person, Mrs. Jones, whatever. And I go, by the way, I don't want anything for it. It's, she's a great woman, great customer. You guys take it and go. I'm not about that, and I think but like you were saying, these corporations work you like slave labor. And just because they're paying you a lot, they think they can smack you around. And that ain't cool. Not everybody, because there are some great companies out there that,
of course,
that,
but looking at it, like you mentioned, like that was a lot of great information in one go. So a couple of things that I want to point out with what you're saying. Happiness. Yeah. Not just being happy with what you're doing, but also selling happiness. For instance, you're working as a DJ and as a tennis coach. Playing at events, music is so important, like mood enhancer, emotions, things like that. You are selling happiness with playing tunes, MCing, making things fun, people laughing. It's memorable. Same thing with tennis. A lot of people do sports because it learn new things because it creates happiness.
Right.
Same thing. I work as a nutrition coach and a trainer. I sell happiness because I create people, like I make them feel better. I make them lose weight. I get them stronger. We sell happiness, and that's important that people understand that they're buying and selling happiness is one of the most important things in our life because we need happiness.
And by the way, you can sell happiness even if you're a shoe shiner, a brain surgeon, a baker, a sanitation garbage person. It's the joy you bring to your job. There was a guy, and it's on 60 Minutes. You can Google it, YouTube it, 60 Minutes episode. They followed around an LA police officer. Okay. He's been in the job for something like 30 something years or whatever it was. Okay. Excellent officer, highly rated, all these awards. This officer has never, ever, ever in 30 years, not one, zero, never had a complaint against him. And they're like, that's impossible. That is impossible. But they go, so they set up a hidden camera with his permission to follow him for a week to see, like, what are you doing that not only is he not getting complaints, people call weekly to say what a great guy he is as he's arresting people, giving people tickets. What? So they set this camera up. You can go on YouTube and watch this. And he's not a pushover. He arrests people. He tickets people. He pulls people over. He does his job. But he does it with a sense of compassion and empathy and humanity. And he's tough. But you hear the people getting arrested and getting tickets. I'm sorry, I understand. The officer's like, hey, I understand. I'm sorry I have to do this, but I have to give you this ticket or I have to arrest you, please, And it's just like, wow. I mean, so my point is, no matter what job you do, you can bring a joy to it. Obviously, you're not going to be laughing as you're getting arrested. But my point is, you can tell people who love their job and have that calling for, I don't care, you're the shoe shiner, whatever, you're the neurosurgeon, like the humanity, the humanness, the empathy, and sometimes some humor, not everybody has that. And it's unfortunate because, you would make a lot more money and be happier and you're whatever. Anyways, but anything else you wanted to add before we go on to?
Yes. One thing I want to say, I haven't seen the episode, but one thing that I think that police officer is probably extremely good at. First of all, he's a people person. He can feel kind of their emotional state and can kind of probably like follow it. So they're meeting at the kind of same point. And I also think he's a phenomenal communicator. So those two things, like whatever you're working with, are always gonna be like superpowers.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it's any job it is. I don't care what it is. You're a professional knitter. You knit blankets. Like whatever. You can tell, and I think that helps to sell too. The irony is not because you want to do it that reason, but when people see joy in your work, people know they see joy in my work. By the way, am I the best tennis player on earth? No, I'm not. I'm not Serena Williams, but a lot of people like working with me because they see the joy in my work, versus another coach that might be better than me on the court, but is not happy. It doesn't want to be there. You know what I mean? So there's,
Anthony, one thing also that I think like both you and I do, we care about our clients.
Yeah. 100%.
Like so from my perspective, I care so much about my clients. I mean, I just want them to succeed with whatever they're doing. If I can be a part of it and help them, I will go out of my way to make them feel better, healthier, look better, feel more confident, whatever it is. I mean, we talk about so many things that is not related to nutrition and training during my sessions. I don't want to be like a shrink or anything like that, but at least I'm a human being. I'm a fellow human, and like we talk about life and trying to like share experiences, support one another, and those things. But it's important. I mean, and I know that you do too, and I think that's what also like why people enjoy working with us and why they want to re-up and they want to continue doing things, because mutual understanding and a care.
There you go. You're right, man. No, well said, Magnus. All right, so our next one is then regrets in our 20s and 30s. We're still in our 40s, but I always laugh, and I say this to you off camera, when people are like, I have no regrets. I got no regrets. Okay, my retort to that is, well, then you haven't lived. You're like, you've lived underneath your bed. Like, I'm not saying you have to have a ton of regrets, but when you have no regret, it's kind of suspicious. It's like, really? Yeah. Or maybe you're just too proud. But now, so some regrets in my 20s and 30s would be, I wish, this is going back to my high school years, actually. I wish I would have paid attention a little bit more in high school. I wish I would have been more, into scholastics and not into women, like I was more chasing the ladies around. But anyways, I wound up on my feet. I did well, I went to college, whatever. But I ill prepared myself for college. I went to college and was like, what? I don't know what, so that's one regret I have. And I guess another one would be, and I'm still working with this, but not to sweat stuff, the small stuff. I tend to sweat small stuff. Like my house can be on fire. I'd be like, meh. But like if me, like I'm a walking panic factory. So it's just like, but if you ask me what I'm panicking about, like you want to smack me, it's just like, really, dude? Like, so that's another regret. And I'm working on that. And I've always had that issue. It's just like, like if I'm looking back at my life, I guess that would be probably one of my biggest ones, is just like, I sweat the small stuff way too much. I mean, really like minuscule bullshit, Yeah. And like I said,
which is also good sometimes.
Well, yes and no,
so
right?
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That is kind of like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I mean, like it's something that, like, again, it's something that we all have to work on. I think it's important to think, okay, I regret 1,000 things that I've done, but I also regret more. I actually regret things that I haven't done. That's more kind of the regrets. And I think most people have more regrets of what they're not doing out of discomfort, things like that. Right. Sometimes you just have to take that plunge and then course correct afterwards. I mean, like me starting a business, me moving to the States, stuff like that. I mean, it's scary. It was super, super scary, but it definitely helped me evolve as a human, you know?
Right.
And I think it's also like one thing that is super, super important for people is that don't let the past control you. You have to just focus on what you're doing in the now, and what you're doing in the now is creating a better version of you in your life in the future. So usually people get so hung up on, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. Just accept it, be kind to yourself, and move forward. It's super, super hard. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But you have to, if you want to be successful and if you want to be happy, you have to accept that things are not going in a straight line upwards in life.
Right. And I think we're all guilty to some extent. You know, we're too tough on ourselves, and I'm guilty of that. Growing up, the Catholic guilt trip, they say, growing up Catholic, everything's a sin. You know, so So I mean, do you have any, generally speaking, do you have any regrets? And I'm sure you're doing your 20s or 30s that you're like, I should have been a punter, not a linebacker for the football team or whatever.
So
you should have been.
I should have definitely been a better student, especially in high school. I was not.
You chasing the same women I was chasing? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just not buying into the whole high school bullshit. You know, like there was a lot of kids like brown nosing the teacher and getting good grades, but they were actually like really, really poor at like actually like knowing things or actually evolving. So I think it just like I did not just like that kind of setting. I did way better. Like actually when I like kind of ballooned out a little bit more was when I did my military service. So I was shipped off basically, I think like 4 days after I graduated high school. I was sent up north, like near the Arctic Circle to get into Ranger School. So, and I was there for a year, and I think like, yes, it sucked in many ways, but it also made me a way more of understanding on who I was and what I can accomplish. And that I learned that I can learn so many things if I just put the time and effort into it.
You can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't my parents saying this anymore.
Right. You see,
it was me myself saying it, and also seeing it from the surrounding that I had and the officers that was educating us and things like that.
Yeah.
That like, it was more kind of like light a fire. Don't just fill a bucket.
Correct.
Like
light
a lot of so yeah. I mean, and then when it comes down to it, one thing that I do regret is actually like getting my PhD. I think that I even shouldn't have got into engineering school to start out with. I think that I should have actually pushed way harder and gone into like the medical field instead. But do I regret it? Not really, because I did something of very few people have accomplished in their life too.
Right.
Am I saying that I'm so much better than anybody else? No, I'm not. I know that I have a lot of limitations and things like that, but I was fortunate that I was able to do it.
Right. I feel like you do about that too, actually. I regret, I monetarily, economically regret going to college. It was the biggest waste of my money. Now, I'm not saying college is bad for everybody, but I think college is bad for 70% of people who go. Yeah, that's my take on it.
Yes, especially
money speaking. Now, if you just want to get educated, best thing ever. I enjoyed my education, but if you think, depending on what you major in, right? I mean, if you're, you know, like you got debt to you in your 40s, I don't know, how'd that college work out for you? You know, but anyways.
No, I think that like, and I think that's something like, oh, you have to go to college. I'm like I joking around. I've been a professional student for such a long time in my life, so I know like the ins and outs a lot. And first of all, I think that people should go to school later on in life when they actually know exactly what they were. More like they have a little, like the funnel has kind of shrunken a little bit. So you're not going to college and after 4 years, it's like it was complete waste of time and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You're 17, 18, 19, and you have to make decisions and get a degree for the rest of your life. You're a child, okay?
Yeah.
Like, right, to your point, too bad America doesn't have, back in the day, we used to, you had to do military back in the day, or maybe Peace Corps. These are the things, first do that, then you go to college, get some life experience, see what you like. Maybe you want to be a culinary chef, or maybe you want to be an engineer, but not in America. We do have that to some extent, but it's all free will. I think sometimes we need to be like in other countries, you have to do some service to the country, whether Peace Corps or like I said, military or whatever, like Teach for America. I don't know. But anyways, all right. Anything else you wanted to add before we go to the gallbladder? Speaking of science,
like I think this topic we could continue going on like for hours. But let's like I think we threw out some golden nuggets there that people that are listening. I mean, it's the same thing. If people, please share. What was your experience in when you went to college? Why did you go to college? Where did you go to college? Did you get a scholarship? Did your parents pay for it? Did you pay for it yourself? These things are interesting. And do you regret it? Do you wish you did another major? Things like that, like talking about it. Where did you end up? Are you using your degree? Please share this with us.
Yeah, please. Yeah, let us know, folks. What do you? How do you? Your regrets in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Could be college. Could be. We're not saying that any regret that you may have. You don't have to bare your soul. But anyways, I would have done better at an all boys school because the ladies are my weakness. I'm not kidding, dude. I struggled from middle school to graduate school. I mean, it was hard for me to focus because I'm like, what's your number? Okay, like.
Anthony, like during that time in life, there's a lot of change in hormones that are making a lot of like stupid decisions, and especially for guys. Our brain halves have not kind of merged and evolved. So especially guys going into their early 20s, mid 20s, a lot of us are fucking stupid. Excuse my language, but we're really, really dumb.
Yeah, men are we mature slowly compared.
Yeah, I mean that's why we die early too, because we do stupid things. Oh, maybe I can jump off this bridge into that like little bucket of water. Oh, that didn't work, and now I'm dead.
Train hopping.
No, so okay. Let's go into the gallbladder.
So what gallbladder? We hear about the gallbladder all the time, and actually, when I hear about it, and you touched on it off camera, but it's like. The only time I hear about a gallbladder is when someone's removing it. So I'm like, what is with this friggin' organ? Like, do we would need, like, is God putting stuff in us just to piss us off that we don't need? Like, like, what does the gallbladder do? And I don't know.
Okay, so I usually start. Where is the gallbladder located?
Where is that?
Yeah, so the gallbladder is basically a small little sac. It's about 3 to 4 inches like long and about 1.5 to 2 inches wide. And it's like a small little balloon, so to say. It's located like on our stomach, between like the junction between our stomach and the small intestine. And what does it do? It kind of spells out in the name. It's a bladder that contains gall, which is bile. So what it does, it actually helps us break down fat in our digestion and help us with digesting food.
So if you have a gallbladder, you're probably farting a lot or like have digestive problems.
Yes, you can definitely have issues. You can the problem is like the gallbladder actually that's where you store it. So instead of storing it and then actually having it like eject into your small intestine, you have a continuous flow of bile into your small intestine. So it's like basically if you go to a toilet and it flushes, right? If the valve breaks and the water just continue flowing.
Oh, damn.
So you I mean, and it's like it's instead of actually being able to flush like a big volume of water at one time, it's just gonna like drip slowly, right? When you have a leak. So the problem is you can't flush.
Right.
So and that's similar to what the gallbladder does. I mean, you're not collecting the bile, and the bile doesn't come out when we eat and when we actually need it. So it's just dripping in. We're not getting a high enough concentration or volume of bile to actually break down fat and things like that. And this is the genius of science, right? How to find a way of not actually gaining weight. Do you remember when they had that? What was it? The name of it? That medicine that hinders the breakdown of fat.
Right. Well, they call it hydroxycut or something like that.
No. It wasn't hydroxycut. It's something else. But it basically prevents your digestive system to digest the fat. So you will basically go straight through the whole
fat.
Yeah, and you know how horrendous that might be. It's not smelling good. It's not looking good.
Probably, right?
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. And it's the same thing with people that do not have a gallbladder. It's that you constipation, diarrhea, you fluctuate in between those. You might have a hard time of actually, like, you have to be close to a bathroom, because when you have to go, you have to go. So
I guess you probably have to have like a low-fat diet, possibly.
Both yes and no. The thing is, you can help this out by actually eating external bile. So you actually a bovine or it's called ox bile. So you actually take in tablets that contains bile before and after you eat. So that will help you break it down. But there's a lot of things that, like, you have a hard time like absorbing food and nutrients, so you can be malnourished and actually like low energy in those things. And also, like I said, you're gonna have a hard time, like eating a high content of fat is not gonna be good usually.
Right.
Eating a lot of fiber, it's gonna be a problem too. And fibers and fats are so important too. So remember, a lot of the vitamins are also fat soluble. So if you're not able to absorb fat, you're not able to absorb the vitamins. So that could be a problem too. So you see, it lines up. That just shows us how important the gallbladder is, and right. How the secretion of bile, how important that is. Man. Whatever you can do, unless you're having like it's highly inflamed or there's like a disease or something like that, you should do as much as possible to try to keep
the gallbladder.
Your gallbladder. But again, it's not, your life hasn't ended if you have to remove it.
You'll live a long, healthy life, whatever.
You just have to be smarter and a better understanding on what supplements to take,
right?
And chewing your food well, helping your digestive system as much as possible.
Well, we were talking about when people get the gastric bypass too, that I didn't know that when I was talking to one of the healthcare professionals. She was saying that, well, I had put two and two together. When you get gastric bypass of any type, that then you can no longer really be on any kind of fiber. So then I said, wait a second, if you can't have a fiber diet after bypass, that must raise the risk for colorectal cancer then. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, like, you know, it really is kind of a cat and mouse game, you know, like if you take something out or you modify something, like to your point, only do it if like your life is going to end, like then take it out or do the gastric or whatever it is. But yeah, if you can, my friend who's a physician always says, Anthony, you never, ever, ever get an operation unless anything, doesn't matter, nose job, you only do it if it's life and death, because you're going on a chopping block and bad things can happen. So, and it happens all the time anyways. But.
So this is interesting too. Nature is quite smart, right? Why is nature smart? Because first of all, nature have had millions of years to evolve, right? And nature is pretty much, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, unless it's actually way, way better. Like we're talking about like a positive mutation or things like that. Oops, the dogs are fighting in the background. Sorry about that. What it comes down to, it, like you're saying, there's a reason why we have these different organs. If we remove something, we basically remove a balance and homeostasis in our bodies. So it's always important to kind of have that understanding. It's like there's a reason for it. It's doing something. Right. Sometimes science and research has not really caught up to what it's doing. The same thing when we're looking at our like genes and DNA, we have like a lot of like empty space, or we don't really know what it does. Now we're starting to figure out, okay, it might be basically feedback, inhibition, triggers, things like that activate certain things. So everything is more complex, and it's the same thing. Certain genes, depending on the expression and what our like environment does, triggers them.
That's right. That's called what do you call it? Epigenetics. That
yes.
Turned on.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Right. But yeah, back to. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So sorry. So that's important. That like you don't want to remove and have like just for fun. I mean, it's like you said, if you wanna like go through the health system in a good way, you need to be healthy before. That's the one I said, like when I had my surgery. So I don't know, I ruptured my bicep tendon a bunch of years ago. Fortunately, I was healthy, so I just came in, had the surgery, went out, rehab, boom, everything's hunky dory. Like that's a perfect system, you know, for when that happens. But when we're unhealthy, we're having issues, things could actually escalate quite bad when you're actually at a hospital. Like,
right.
So have an understanding of it. Like, as I'm not saying that you should not see a doctor and you should not go and have things checked out. It's just that trying to be preventive and preventive health as much as possible is going to benefit your whole life.
Well, that's what I always say. Healthcare, 85% of it, I believe, healthcare is on us. What we eat, how we sleep, how we work, what we drink, what we don't drink, our relationships. That's real, true healthcare. When you go to the doctor, that's, I call it acute damage repair. You know, doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals are part of the healthcare system, but they're not the majority of it. The majority is us. Do we smoke? Do we drink? Do we walk? Do we exercise? What do we eat? All those things. That's the foundation of healthcare. You know this, but it's just kind of anyway. So, but all right. So gallbladder.
No, really important points. I mean, like don't just skip over this. I think you're definitely pointing out a major, like the major importance of health. It's you have to take response. It's like with many other things in life, you have to take responsibility for your health. And we've talked about this so many times before. It's not just your physical health, it's your mental health, it's your emotional health, and like soul, whatever. Like you have to take like care of all these parts to be healthy and feel good about yourself and your surrounding.
Right. If you're eating fried foods and drinking juicy drinks and sodas and beers and endless amounts of wine, and you're sitting and more sitting, and you know the cakes and the cookies and refined carbohydrates, and you're taking pills, that's not healthcare. Healthcare is you stopping the crap lifestyle. And if you still need to take the pill, take a pill. But you know, in America, we often think that, oh, I'm taking my pills. That's healthcare. That's part of healthcare. But the other part is you. If you're still smoking and drinking and sitting and eating fried this, fried that, you're not helping the healthcare. You know, like. But anyways, so all right, yeah. So anything else you wanted to add before we wrap this?
No, I think that's a good finishing point. I'm like again, over and over, we always say this, and that's hopefully why a lot of people are here too, to actually like gain more experience and have more tools in their toolbox to deal with healthcare and their health and things like that, and think bigger picture and being healthier and feeling better, having more energy and things like that. So again, thank you for having me on the show again. It's like it's so much fun, and I think we always have a good conversation. I hope that the people that are watching this enjoys it too. And again, we want you to get your feedback and again, give us comments, share, like things like that. Yeah, I'm sounding like like I'm trying to pitch it, but I think it's important. The more people that can actually see us and actually get involved in this community, we're all trying to get better.
Yeah, man. Listen, we're all on that line. We all have our trials and tribulations. Nothing, you know, life is tough, man. And sometimes life is a little bit easier, but sometimes, you know, it's tough. Nobody has it easy. Just because you see someone, they look fabulous on social media, believe me, they're just putting up their best moments. We all suffer. We've all been through shit, and we're all going to keep going through shit. And sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, you know, and we all need each other. And you know, hope, like you said, Magnus, I hope that this channel can be a little bit of a help to people, because again, you know, we don't walk alone. But anyway, so that's it, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And we got a bunch of great shows coming up as we go forward. The weather's getting warmer, so I'm not going to be as pale. I'm going to be out there, bro. Like we need some sun, vitamin D. So you know,
I need some sun too, and I'm surrounded by sun. I just need to.
I know. I'm surprised how white you are, man. Yeah. Dude. But you know,
I'm Casper the Friendly Ghost.
That's right. Little sunscreen, but we need some vitamin D. Anyways, all right, everybody. I'm out of here. I'm going to sign off.